Hello and welcome to another classic movie review here. And today we've got Once Upon a Time in the West. Came out in 1968, directed by Sergio Leone. But before I get into the review, I have to say a spoiler alert. I'm not going to try to spoil everything, but there will be some spoilers in this video. So definitely consider yourselves warned on all things spoilers for this movie. Also, we have a new Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ccinemareviews page. So definitely check out the channel there, and we're also on Twitter at @ccinemareviews. Lastly, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this review and want to see more like it in the future. With that being said, let's get into the review. So, Once Upon a Time in the West, starring a really good cast. Claudia Cardinal as Jill McBain, Charles Bronson as Harmonica, Henry Fonda as Frank, Jason Richards as Cheyenne. You got Gabriel Frazzetti as Mr. Morton. You got Frank Wolf as Brett McBain. And is it good and did I like it? I think it, yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really good movie. I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it, and I think it reminded me that back then, back in the '60s, back in those days, the movies took their time, and I think that's really cool because Sergio Leone had a story, probably had a script, and he was like, "Hey, it doesn't matter if it takes 3 hours. I'm gonna make my movie. I'm gonna put exactly what I want in the movie, and that's how it's gonna be." And I applaud him for that. This movie does a really good job of making the most mundane sounds important. Like you have the little windmill that's like at the in the beginning. You have the fly on the dude's face in the beginning, and the sound of the fly trying to fly out of his gun barrel. It also made me think, why are they calling this guy Harmonica? The dude can only play one song. Like, come on. You've had this harmonica. We find out that he's had this harmonica for years and he's only learned one song. Like, do we really call him harmonica or do we call him one trick pony? But I joke there. I think Charles Bronson did a great job. There's also in the very last scene, the harmonica is playing, or at least the sound, the score with the harmonica is playing, and I'm like, well, who's playing the harmonica now? Because Charles Bronson is totally having this gunfight with Frank. Who's playing it now? But that's nitpicky stuff. After the movie was done, I had to literally sit down and think about who wanted what and why they wanted it, and that's probably my fault because like there's not a lot of exposition in this movie, which is something that's pretty cool. I like that Sergio Leone was like, "Hey, you figure it out," and it was really cool to actually have to sit down and think about a movie after you're done because you don't quite fully understand it. There's also great editing with the last fight between Frank and Harmonica, where you have the flashback to when they were younger, and you got a young kid playing a younger Charles Bronson, and the way that it's shot is just like Frank comes up, and then when the Frank comes up, gives him the harmonica. When the kid falls, and then his brother hangs. As soon as he falls, boom! Like they hold on that shot for a minute, for a good half a second, and then we cut back to Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda having the fight, and then Charles Bronson shoots him, and it's really cool the way that Frank turns around and he's like just looking at the camera, tries to put his gun back in his holster. It's I think it's a really good job of editing, and it's one of the cooler gunfights in a western that I've ever seen. This movie is really cool because it's not just your general revenge western. There are definitely, I mean, Charles Bronson's character is the dude who's hell bent on revenge against some guy who killed his family and everything like that. So you have the revenge western in there, but there's so much more than that with the McBains, and then the Frank Wolf, his character, and his plan to build a station, a railroad station, and then build a city around that, and how that could be millions of dollars. And I like the fact that Cheyenne didn't know what millions. He was like thousands of dollars. And then, Harmonica was like, they call that millions. I like that. And how that could be like something that's really, really huge for the characters. And then you have Mr. Morton and his dream to see the Pacific, and the way that he's going to get there is by using Frank to take people out who are in his way, because he's just trying to cut across the United States and get to the Pacific with that railroad. And I think that that's something that's pretty cool, because you have a character who has he just have a genuine desire to see the ocean, but the way he goes about getting there is wrong. And so that's pretty cool. And then you have Cheyenne and his wanting to find out who framed him, and he probably wants to kill who framed him. So you have multiple storylines, and Sergio does a great job of weaving the multiple storylines together and really not making a mess of it. Yes, I was a little bit confused because it seemed like some things were flashbacks and some things were, happening now. But once I sat down and thought about it, I was like, okay, yeah, this all totally makes sense. It's not a mess, and that's something that's really tough to do. Like, you could do a revenge western, and then you could do the story, between Mr. Morton and the McBains, how the McBains are, trying to make this city. And then you could do, a movie about Cheyenne and Frank and how Frank frames Cheyenne, and then Cheyenne's going after Frank. But doing all three of those stories in the same movie, it must have been tough, and he did a great job with it. There's one thing that I definitely have to mention, and that is the score by Ennio Morricone. Morricone? However you say it. I don't know if he's Italian, so crucify me in the comment section down below, please. I think that his score is great. Okay, like, yes, I get on harmonica for only knowing one song, but it makes sense. It's kind of like, he has his own theme, and so it makes sense that since he plays the harmonica, that he would play his own theme. It's like, why would he play somebody else's theme? It doesn't make any sense, right? So I understand that. I was so hoping that he would play the other melody like later on, because you have his theme, which is really cool, and it's really really Western, and then you have the rest of the score where it has like dun 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 dun, dun. I was waiting for him to play that on his harmonica later on in the movie. Didn't happen, but still, I think the score is great. I think the way they use it is great. I like that it's really everything. All the other score is subdued, like it's lowered, but the score for harmonica, his theme, is like very, very prominent in those scenes. Like, it's very loud. But I do enjoy that. I also like, it's a score, and this is something that Sergio Leone, I know that he has very great scores in all of his westerns. And it's like, when you think about a western, you think about a gun, the 6-shooter, you think about a cowboy hat, you think about horses, you think about dudes dressed up like very nice, you think about dusters, you think about things like that. But really, the thing in all of the great western movies is that they have a great score, and the score can really either pull you out of it if it's not a good score for the movie, but if it is a good score for the movie, it can make it so much better. And I think that that's something that this movie does amazing. Ennio Morricone, Morricone. Again, crucify me in the comment section down below. I'm trying to give the guy some compliments. I'm trying to give him props. I think his score is absolutely amazing. I have to touch a little bit on the character of Jill McBain, because this character, just nothing good happens for her. Honestly, nothing good happens for her. She was working the oldest profession known to man in New Orleans, and then she apparently meets Brett McBain, who's like, "Hey, I'm rich. You want to be my wife? Yeah, let's do it." She comes here. She thinks that she's going to, have a great husband. She thinks she's going to be rich. She thinks that she's going to give him some kids. Everything seems like it's on the, she's on the uprise. Then she comes to Sweetwater. She finds out the people are dead. They're dead. Oh, that's unfortunate. She doesn't really mourn it that much. I don't know how I said mourn. She doesn't really mourn it that much. But hey, got to move on. Got to be tough. And all that good stuff. She only knew him for like a month or whatever. Or she'd been married for a month. I don't know how long she knew him, but she didn't mourn the family's death a lot. I mean, she didn't even shed a tear. And then she sent like there's a scene in there where it's pretty clear that Charles Bronson's character pretty much sexually assaults her, which is, unfortunate. Then she has to go and deal with Frank, which again, unfortunate. Just nothing good but the end of this movie. The end of this movie is the only good thing that happens to the character of Jill McBain. She ends up, having the station and all that good stuff, but just nothing good. And there's one thing that this movie did make me think about, and I don't know, but this movie made me think, you know what? Did they have fake eyelashes back in the West, in the wild wild West? Did they have fake eyelashes? Cause I don't know. But Jill McBain had some fake eyelashes. And like, I didn't know if they had those in the West. It seems like they wouldn't, right? Like, I think that they wouldn't, but hey, she had them, so I guess they did. Bringing this review to a close, I have never said this about any other movie that I've reviewed. I'm pretty sure, yeah. And I reviewed like The Godfather and Citizen Kane. I think that this is an artsy movie. I think that this is one of those movies that, in my opinion, is like one of those movies that you teach in film school. I think that it's that like good. I think that it's that, technically good and all that good stuff. I think this is a movie that if I were going to film school, I would expect this movie to be one that I would study, that I would look at, that I would research and everything like that. So I've never said that about anything else. That's not like a dig at it. It doesn't, I still enjoyed the movie. It is long, and so I had to go into it knowing that it was long and being prepared for a long, not really a slow burn, but a long, slower paced movie. And once I was prepared for that, I was like, cool, that's fine, cool with me. I'll just have an intermission here somewhere. I'll go get some popcorn in the middle somewhere, and we'll be fine, And so that I do think that this is a really good movie. I did enjoy watching it. It's just it's not a movie I think that I will, go out and buy on Blu-ray to watch it over and over again. I'm not, that's not a dig at it. I did enjoy the movie. I'm not saying I didn't. I did enjoy the movie. I think it's a really good watch. I think that, you should watch it. It's just for me personally, I wouldn't go out there, get this on Blu-ray, because I don't feel like I'm going to want to watch this over and over again. I feel like maybe like one more time, and then I'll let it rest on the shelf, or I'll let it rest. I do feel like it's a really good. I feel like it's a really good movie. It's just for me, I feel like I would rather watch a different Western. But that's my thoughts on it. I want to know what you think about this movie. And again, crucify me in the comment section down below if you want. It's all good with me. I understand that other people have different opinions on it. Hey, it's great. Just, tell me in the comment section down below what you think, or on the Facebook page, again, C Cinema Reviews page, or on Twitter at C Cinema Reviews. So definitely tell me your thoughts whenever and wherever you want. And like I said before, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this review and want to see more like it in the future. With that being said, Thank you for watching this one.